Hello, everyone. This is going to be part two of the budget, and going to be just looking. We're just going to be looking completely today at the Every Dollar app and how to set this up. My last video talked about how to find your numbers and the categories, and today I'm going to be talking about the actual Every Dollar app and how to navigate this. When I first started doing this, a lot of these categories were really confusing to me because some overlapped and I didn't know what it was going to be until after I got the bill, that kind of thing. So after a couple of years, I've kind of figured out how to maneuver all that, I guess you could say. Now, this is not my real budget. This is for a budget of someone who is very low income and probably average for someone maybe on Social Security or minimum wage. So, and I'm not there yet, but I will be soon. I'm going to be 62 next year, and so I have diligently tried to cut down everything in order to be able to survive at that point. Anyway, getting back to the budget. So here you see the categories. It says, the top one says income for April. And these categories can be renamed or deleted. Like this category right here, cash or rollover from previous budget. I have used that in the past when I didn't have any income coming in at all because I didn't have a paycheck. So I named it several different things. I would say you could see I could change it to cash on hand, and you can put your bank balance in there. But sometimes I like to have a little cushion in my bank. So what we do on these is when you get money coming in, say you've got paycheck. I put paycheck 2 because I had previously named it paycheck 1, paycheck 2, whatever. But you've got $2,000. So when you want to put something in there, you click on your box there and then go over to the side. I'm not showing it over here. This pops up, right? So when this pops up, you click your plus there. And then you go back and you put in your amount. So your first paycheck, say $500 net. And there's, let's see, it went away. What did I do here? Let me do it again. Okay, $500. And there's a line there for the date that you received it, what category it's going into, or you can relabel that. One week 1. You can split it into 2 different categories. See, it's going into paycheck 2 right now. And here's more options. If you want to put a check number here, notes, say you're getting paid from 2 different places, or you want to put a note in that it was a partial payment, or you want to put in, gross was $650 and so much went to taxes. Just any note that you think, 6 months down the road that you're going to need to know about that you will not remember. I guarantee you won't remember why it was different than whatever. Say your paycheck was only $200 and you normally got $500. Why? So you could put down there why. They deducted money for something that you used or spent or whatever, or extra. Say you got $550 and you were being reimbursed an extra $50 for expenses. I have had a job where they gave me extra money for travel pay and that kind of thing. So put your notes in, because I went back years to look at something. I'm like, what the heck was that for? And I didn't put any notes in. So put your notes in. Anyway, so at the bottom here, let me tilt this up. There's a little thing that says track income, right? So you go there and you hit the track income. All right, so we're back at our original page, and see now it says $500 there, and that's received. and I have an expense reimbursement category here. If you don't want that, you can just delete it, right? If you want to add one, you can add one, see? And then you've got another one. Now going down the list, I have rent, water, internet, electric, streaming services. So what do you do when you get your bill and it's not exactly what you put in for your amount? Say water, sewage, if it varies, like mine varies. You put in $50, or I normally put in what I think the high number will be, because I don't want to go over my budget. I'd rather be under my budget. So if you know your bill is going to be $45.95, you put 50 in there, and then you can put your transaction here, which would be, let's see what I say, $45.95. And here I'm going to put city for water and sewer, or any adjustment notes or whatever, and then track. So now there's kind of a disconnect here, because this says $45.95, but this says $50. So if you want your budget to be correct, you can change this. You can change it any time. So I usually go in and change it. See? And now you got $4 left on your budget there. So if you have a bill that's more somewhere else, and if you, let me see, up here it says you got $4.05 left to budget. So that means that you got $4.05 left to put somewhere else. And you can go down the line here and do the same thing with all of these. Electricity for me varies. Internet's usually the same thing. Streaming services, those are not going to be $50 even. It depends on what you're subscribing to and how many you have. I currently only have YouTube Premium, so mine's nowhere near that much. Food is always variable. Now food, restaurants, toiletries, all this stuff here usually is very tricky. I put an average, and like I said, I put a top dollar amount, and then I add it in each time I go. I put it in my category, and then it'll show a balance. And then if I run over, I change this number. If I go under, I change that number. Now there are some things that are like out of the normal, and those would be unexpected cash expenses. You could put in maybe something that you had to pay annually. Some people put like if they got to pay taxes or something once a year, maybe they'll put in 1/12 of that number here. I don't do that because that's too confusing. If this is like a personal debt that I have, and I pay that much on it every month, and it shows the balance. But since I'm not linked up to the paid version, it's not really going to be correct as far as the balance. I usually have to go in and reconcile that once in a while. I don't really care about that. All I care about is the fact that I've got that much money going out. This is just like a note, because there's not a really good place to put a note on here that I have found. I just like to be aware of this, because when I was paying my American Express bill, up until this cruise was paid for, I was getting charged every month like $100 on my American Express card. And so whenever I paid my American Express card, I knew that $100 of that was going to pay for this cruise. And if you want to go on a cruise and you don't have the whole amount to go on the cruise, I would suggest that you do this, because you can pay a very small deposit and pay small amounts every month to pay for the cruise. It just has to be paid for, I think, like 60 days before you go on the actual cruise. They set it. So if you plan it 2 years ahead, take you 2 years, and they don't charge any interest for it because it's coming out of your credit card or whatever. And then every month I pay the credit card. So that's how I did this. Anyway, there's some untitled, and you can change the title. You can delete that category, or you can change it to whatever. You can add items, you can add groups. You can get really complicated with this. But if you see what I've done here, I've just put numbers in to add up here so that it says I have a complete budget. Now, if you spend too much, say we spent, maybe your electric bill was $150 and you had to change that. I always change this number too. I don't just let it go. Okay, so now I am $45.95 over budget. Now, if all you have in your possession is that $2,000 or $500 or whatever it is, then you're going to be bouncing checks. So it's important to keep looking at that number right there when you're setting this up. And if you look at this and you think, well, I need to pay more. My rent's going up. Say your rent is going up to $700, right? Which in today that would be a miracle. Anyway, so you're going to be $245.95 over budget. You got to figure out somewhere to cut back on that. Either get more income or cut back on some expense. You can cut the junk food out, the restaurant and junk food out. If you take that out, let's put a 0 there. You went down to $195 over budget. You can cut out the toiletries, which is not realistic. We're going to do it anyway. You're down to $170. You're going to get a different phone that's a cheaper plan. Let's go to $25 on like a Smart Talk. I don't know if that's a reality. You're down to $145. Now, this is just budgeting. This isn't what you're actually going to be doing in real life. You're playing around with the numbers to see if, what you want to spend your money on is going to be realistic, because let's look at reality. We are not the government. Whatever you get in is all that you can spend, unless you want to go into credit card debt. If you want to go into credit card debt, then this number will be horribly higher, because even though it looked like a budget, a balanced budget, the credit card interest fees are going to kill you. Okay? So this is just, I just wanted to show you this. It's not a scary thing to do. The biggest thing that I have found in all of this is, especially with food and these categories right here, is that they are variable. They're extremely variable, and you have to put in all your details, or you won't know 6 months from now what that was for. So say I just went to the grocery store and I'm going to add an expense. This is how I do it. Say I spent $60 at Walmart. Okay, I'll put Walmart here. And down here, if I say I did self-checkout and I got everything all together, maybe I can add in here something, a note like used debit card, or bought salad dressing. I know that sounds silly, but it's just a note, something for you to remember what that $60 is for. Or you could list each item and put the amount next to each item. A year from now, you go back and say, wow, that went up a lot, that kind of thing. And if you want to add a split, that would split it between this category and another category. Say you spent $100 and $60 was for groceries and $40 was for toiletries. You could add that split there. You could go down to, let's see how to get down there. Toiletries, and that would be that 60. You could say 40 was food and 20 was toiletries. And here you could say soap, paper towels, that kind of thing. And then when you do that, see, you went $40 went to your food and $20 went to your toiletries. So now this is in the red. That means you spent more than your budget. So you got to change that. So let's go change that. Whoop, get the right number in there. You're still way over budget, but we're not going to worry about that. You just need to know how to use this app. If you've got money in the bank, like a cushion, that number really won't matter that much unless it's like a massive number. Car insurance, that's not variable. Gas, auto, gas, oil, Wi-Fi, repairs. This is all stuff related to your vehicle. If you got to have an oil change, that's going to be a much bigger number. If you have that Wi-Fi in your car, that's a monthly charge. If you have to have a repair, that's a monthly charge. I spend money on repairs rather than a car payment. It makes my insurance less, and also it's far less than a car payment in the long run. Car payments are really expensive nowadays. Landscaping, that could be anything from getting gas for your lawnmower, or paying someone else to do all that stuff, or buying some, stuff to put on your flowers to keep the bugs away, or maybe some fertilizer type stuff, that kind of thing. Pest control, that's for in the house. Some people do it themselves and they like to keep a separate category. Home various, that's always something different. Credit cards, I usually name my credit cards. I only put credit card 1 and credit card 2 here just for demonstration purposes. So I would actually name my credit card, and if you don't have any credit cards, then don't put them there. I have several credit cards that are inactive. I don't use them, so I don't put them on my budget. I only have one that I actually use, and I pay it off every month. So I hope this has helped. I know it may be a little convoluted, but this is the EveryDollar app. It works well for me. If you go back up here, let's go up a little bit here. You can go to any month. See, you have all your months across here. These are future months. These are past months. You can go to any one of them and see what you did in the past. And when you set all this up and it looks good, and you go to another the next month, say you want to set up May, it gives you this big pop-up. You need a budget for May. Start planning for May. And then when you click on it, it just gives you the exact same budget that you had the month before. So you can tweak it, change it, leave it the same, do whatever you want to with it. I like EveryDollar app because it's easy for me. There are a few things that I don't like about it, but I've learned to live with it. I don't connect it to my bank account. I don't pay for the premium version. Those are something that if you want that, if you're trying to budget, I think it's silly to be paying for a budget when you're trying to budget. But that's just me. If you got lots of income, then that's different. So anyway, that's the second part of my budgeting. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to make a comment. I'll be happy to help. Sorry this went on a little bit. Sometimes I like to talk on and on about certain things, and I may have missed something. There are lots of other things you can do. There's other apps you can use. Some people like the big spreadsheets. I just can't go there. I did enough of that years ago. Anyway, so have a good day, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.